All right. Let's get our mic tightened up here. We are live. It is May 15th, 2024. Hope everybody's doing fantastic out there. It is Wednesday. We got the CPI lie. We got the core. We got all of the data. We're going to decode it. We're going to give you guys the XRP market update. We have a meme coin and meme stock mania taking place right over in the stock market. It's getting nuts. And we're used to it being pretty crazy in the cryptocurrency space. The stock market getting a little feel for it and getting exposed, and definitely exciting to watch this unfold. Nonetheless, what we're doing right now is staying focused on what matters most. And I'll tell you, we saw a move in the metals that we've been waiting for a while. To put it into perspective, this is a 1 ounce coin right here, little buffalo head. This little sucker, I forget the lowest prices that I've paid, but we've been talking about silver all the way back when it was sub $20. I mean, it got killed during 2020. And, you know, I've been stacking silver just for the last couple years, but I've been picking up these suckers at about, $25 to $30 per ounce. Today, we make a massive move towards $30 per ounce for silver. Now, silver is going to get the spotlight. The meme stocks are going to get the spotlight. And what doesn't get the spotlight is copper. Maybe I'll have to pick up a bar of raw copper or something so I can hold that up as well. But the point is, folks, we are in the beginning stages of a commodity super cycle without a doubt. How much is the assets going up versus how much is the dollar being devalued? Well, according to the CPI lie, we're only at a 3.4% year over year for the headline. When we look at core, which strips out food and energy, and what are we even doing if we're stripping out food and energy and talking about a consumer price index that doesn't include food and energy? Or we can take it one step further, like Paul Krugman likes to do with the super core, which removes shelter as well. So let's strip out everything that matters. And even with that manipulated data, it's still coming in hot, still way above their targets. We are nowhere near winning this fight. And the stock market prints an all-time high today. S&P 500 all-time high. Silver about to pierce through $30. I'm going to show you guys the charts here in a second. For silver, a triple top. Same move that gold did. Gold is a little bit ahead of silver right now. I would argue it's because there's more paper shorts. There's more paper derivatives. And it's, an asset that we've seen have a shortage for the last 3 years. This was bound to happen, along with one of the greatest inflationary moments in the history of the world, where over 25, 33, what do we get? A quarter, a third of all dollars in circulation were printed, injected, added to digits on the screen, i.e. derivatives and wrapping it in derivatives and continuing on. We don't even know, who has what, and it's all unraveling. What's happening for these assets? Showing strength in the middle of, and sending a signal, sending a warning. And as I tweeted out today, and someone commented today, stop calling it Twitter, call it X. Okay, roger that. On X, I put out my post. War is not over. Inflation is still hot. US is in silent recession. It's not a surprise to see silver pushing towards $30 late, following behind gold, which also soared. Let's take a look at it, folks. We're going to get started here right away. If you guys haven't already, make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell. If you're new here, I talk about current events and financial markets on a daily basis. We're going to bring you guys the content that matters most on those subjects. And then I'm just going to transparently tell you how I'm investing, how I'm moving, and I'll give you my opinion on some things. On some things, I can't talk about it. I save that for my Patreon Discord group where we can talk about the secret sauce. And just be careful out there, guys. There's no DM from me on any of these platforms. The only way to get in touch with me is to go to my website, zachrector.com, and I will not send you a DM, period, full stop. Watch out for the scammers. I have a lot of them on every single platform. Please be safe. All of our community resources are over there, and that's the only place to get in touch with me. Let's get right on into it, guys. This is an important update coming your way. Right now, we are looking at an S&P 500 setting a new all-time high here once again. This thing has been on a tear. We got a little bit of a correction here into April. We're on a daily chart. New all-time high set, $5,300 S&P 500. Let's go to the Dow Jones. Pushing towards 40. New all-time high achieved. Very, very close. 39,935. So just 60, 70 bucks away from that 40,000 Dow Jones. NASDAQ 100 up here, 18,596, a new all-time high once again. There's a little triple tap and send it. And funny enough, that's exactly what silver's doing right now. Now we got to zoom out to get the perspective on it. This is on the daily chart. I'm going to zoom out to a weekly so we can get perspective. This is important context. While everybody's distracted by the meme coins, while the talking head pundits are trying to say everything's okay, gold and silver saying something else. This is a 29 and a 589. A 29 and a 589. Any takers? Going once, going twice. A 29 and a 589 for your silver spot. Now go pay a premium. And we got some of the best affiliates for resources for you guys to get the best prices in the game right now when it comes to metals. So get tapped in with us. We got gold, we got silver. We can roll over 401k retirement account or get it directly shipped to you. The signal is being sent. Let's go back to the chart. This is a triple tap. 1, 2, 3. Now, silver did it back twice in 2020. This is incredible. August 2020. Now, see, this is what's so funny. Like I said, in the depths of the most recent recession and bear market 2022 that we had, it went all the way down to $17. Go figure. During the crash of all crashes in most recent times, $11 silver. Can you believe that? Shortly thereafter, it just rips to $30, double taps it, been chopping sideways, been showing strength for the last 3 years. During this whole time, there's been a deficit. And I don't know, it probably actually lasted before that. I don't know if there was a deficit before that. I should go back and check that. But I know for the last 3 years, 23, 22, 21, 100 million ounce plus deficits per year. Gold. How about that? And this is the triple tap. And look at that. We broke through and now we're still climbing. This is a macro move. This is a not day trading, playing around with it like the kids are doing, thinking that they're going to day trade meme coins to becoming a millionaire. Just because a few of them do it doesn't mean they're going to keep it and doesn't mean they can do it again. And all I ask is that your program is repeatable and scalable, and tell me about it. Whatever your program is, if you became a Dogecoin millionaire, if you're going to destroy the banks and the hedge funds and the suits with your GameStop, tell me about it. Tell me about your program. I just want to make sure it's repeatable and scalable, because we can then do it again and again and again. We're making money whether the market's going up, going down. This is a macro move, a big boy, big girl move that we've been waiting, that's been building. Triple tap breakthrough. Same thing taking place for silver right now. You guys can have fun with the memes. I love memes. I love me a good meme. Have fun with them. And I have owned a meme. I've owned Dogecoin. I got burned on Dogecoin. I sold Doge at half a penny. I got burned. I could have turned my 100, 200 bucks into 5, 6 grand if I would have sold anywhere near the top. I missed out and I shot myself in the foot by selling off my Dogecoin at half a penny. And I didn't need the money. I didn't even take the money out of crypto like, oh, I need this couple $100 to go pay my bills. No, I probably bought more XRP. You know what I'm saying? So I got burned on that. That's my only meme coin experience. I respect the hustle. I appreciate what's happening right now with the game stoppers, with the holders. I get it. And in fact, I'm just participating in a different asset when it comes to calling their bluff and stacking it with no counterparty risk. See, Robinhood can't shut me down. I can't get halted 38 times in a day like AMC and GameStop did combined the other day. That was just in one day. 38 times between the two of them. As I've been saying, as I've been calling the stock market, it is a rigged casino. The crypto exchange market lets you use even more leverage. It's a rigged casino with 50 and 100x leverage. We're seeing it unravel. We're seeing true value discovered right now, and we're going into price discovery. The household in the United States of America, though, feeling the pain. Total U.S. household debt increased by $190 billion in Q1 2024 to a new record of $17.7 trillion, according to the New York Fed. Now, before I read you off the categories here, remember that this is all-time high debt, right? And we also ran out of excess savings last month as well. We've been tracking, it went all the way from 2.1 excess savings. That's liquid cash on the sidelines for American households that if we have a rainy day, you can make a move. 2.1 trillion of it. It's at zero, guys, gals. Those who are tuning in here tonight with me, I appreciate you. God bless you. If you haven't already, please help us out. Folks, we went from 2 trillion in excess savings to zero, and we're still debating, oh, was this a soft landing? We went from 2 trillion sitting cash liquid to nothing. Now, Wall Street is sitting with 6 trillion cash on the sideline in money market funds. So they still have cash. They still have plenty of cash. They still have plenty of assets. They still have control of the rigged casinos. But the U.S. and the regular person here, the regular person has wiped out their savings and is now going into an all-time high amount of debt at the highest interest rates that we've had in a very long time. With predatory programs, buy now, pay later, and what have you, that's been extended. They're extending credit in many different ways now. 50x, 100x leverage on crypto. And that's not even including the mortgage debt, which is now at 190 billion to 12.44 trillion. Folks, this is debt from less than 200 billion to 12.4 trillion. Auto loans from 9 billion to 1.62 trillion. That's Billy with a B to Trilly with a T. 6 billion to 1.6 trillion for student loans. Credit card debt, 14 billion to 1.12 trillion. Total household debt in the US is now up 25% in 3 years and rising rapidly. We are fighting inflation with debt, and the debt's being squeezed off. The credit event is underway. The commercial banks are already feeling it, but the smaller regional banks, some of them aren't going to make it. See, everybody's getting squeezed, but the top commercial and largest banks have the full backstop of Janet, Notel, and Yellen, and they have the certainty of that allowed trillions of inflows of deposits and money market funds for them to sit on, and now they can earn 5% cash on cash with their bonds and T-notes and bills. So this is the squeeze for the middle class and poor, while the top wealthiest, while the top banks survive, everybody else is fending for themselves, going from 100 billion to 12 trillion, 9 billion to 1.6 trillion, 6 billion to 1.6 trillion on mortgage, auto loans, student loan, credit card debt, up to 1.12 trillion, all all-time highs. Has a soft landing been achieved? Are you kidding me? Why are we still even asking? Yeah, it's been a soft landing because we're all in debt. Now, we've been talking about, I like having good debt. Cash flow must cover debt service. That's really all that matters when we're looking at, whether a deal works or not from a business perspective. Does your cash flow cover debt service? Well, then you at least know you're breaking even, right? And looking at any prospective property, opportunity business-wise, it's the number one question that I really look at, right? And is cash flow going to cover debt service if I can't refinance? If I can't refinance at a lower rate? If rates do stay higher for longer? Because unlike everybody else that was preaching date the rate, marry the home, i.e. most of the real estate industry, God bless you guys. I love my real estate agents, property managers, all that. I love it. However, when you regurgitate the same talking head pundits from CNBC that have been wrong about everything else, right? That's where you're going to get caught off guard, is listening to the talking head pundits that are trying to soften the blow that the Fed is delivering to Main Street right now. The disconnect between Wall Street and Main Street has never been more clear. Continuing on, folks, looking at the economic data today, this is from Market Watch, and like I was saying, we got bad data today, to put it simply. 3.4% for your CPI year over year. That's your headline number right there. CPI year over year coming at 3.4%. That was in line with expectations, just like core CPI, which strips out food and energy, coming in at expectations of 3.6%. So expectations were on. Now, did we cool inflation slightly? We did. 0.1% for headline CPI, 0.2% for core. We went from 3.8 to 3.6 on core. We went from 3.5 to 3.4 on headline CPI. And the talking head pundit cheerleaders on CNBC, what are they saying? The first quarter was an anomaly. Inflation growing, and accelerating back up, right? We brought it down from about 9%. Headline CPI was 9%. And we brought it all the way back down to below 3%. I think we got a couple readings at below 3%, basically. And now we're back up. And now we come down 0.1%. Oh my gosh. And nobody's ready to cheerlead because they understand. Even the talking heads are starting to admit that it is breaking, that there is a little bit of a disconnect. And I'm listening to them say how they understand that there's no fundamental value 5 to 10% past the all-time high for the major indexes like the S&P 500. There's nothing there from a fundamental basis, unless we're going to get another trillion stimulus, which is definitely in the cards. I don't know if Biden could deliver that before, we switch it over or whatever we do this November. But, can we deliver another trillion stimulus? Because that's the only other thing that really gets this thing moving much further. Of course, there is still a lot of money in the money market funds, but it's there because it's paying them a return, and this is high yield high yield checking accounts and saving accounts. Sorry, not checking, savings accounts, high yield saving accounts. Your local credit union is now offering you 5% on your savings as long as you have, 50,000 minimum or, there's many programs that are offered, but you get my point. So who's to say that that's going to get deployed to an equity in a stock market that even the common person kind of sees the, joke for what it is. The show is kind of coming to an end. And this is being exposed through the Wall Street saga that's taking place. See, it's dumb money until it exposes the system. That's why I cheerlead, and that's why I got my popcorn to watch the meme coin mania. So I keep on calling it meme coin. It's meme stock. I'm so used to talking about crypto, but I wanted to talk about a few more data points here. Empire State Manufacturing. This is the New York Fed's Empire State Manufacturing gauge weakening further in May. And recall that this is after we got the producer price index that also went up again. We got that on Tuesday. So producer wholesale prices are pushing back up. The manufacturing survey drops off. And then the other one that I wanted to show you was the Home Builder Confidence Index. That's right, folks. Home Builder Confidence Index dropping from 51 to 45, way below expectations. That's a big miss. Builders are slashing home prices to keep buyers interested as confidence in the market wanes for the first time since November 2023. Now, the only confidence in the real estate market should have been felt in markets where it lacks supply. We're talking about single family homes, great neighborhoods, great locations, but they lack a supply. That was the only markets that should have felt comfortable and should still feel comfortable. There are markets that are still going up. And you see this across the country, though. A broader reset is underway. Undeniable now. It's really undeniable now. And so even though I'm willing to admit you can't just broadly blanket real estate's crashing. I'm not ready to say real estate's crashing. That's why I call it a real estate reset. Now, commercial, well, Commercial is not just crashing, commercial is getting sacrificed. And that's going to, like I said, that's going to be a problem for the small and regional banks that aren't going to get the full Fed backstop. The S&P 500 has just hit its 23rd all-time high this year and is now up 29% since October 2023. This means that the S&P 500 has officially added 10 trillion in market cap since its October 2023 low. The index is now up 11.5% in 2024, even as a total of 4 interest rate cuts have been priced out since January. God bless the folks that thought there was going to be 7 rate cuts this year, 6 rate cuts last year. What were you thinking, right? We are on track to see the most all-time highs in a year since 2021. Truly incredible. Now, in fact, I'll just add to that point, you can tell who's getting squeezed right now because they're begging the Fed to cut interest rates. I talked about this. I covered one of the largest billionaire real estate investors, Barry Steinlicht is his name. He actually just had to turn over some properties back to the bank, major properties. And I didn't even know this. I just saw him being shared around the mainstream news. And he was talking about how we were going to have a small bank or a regional bank crash or collapse every day, I believe. I think it was every day. I don't think it was every week, but it was something dramatic. He literally said we were going to have small regional banks collapse every day. This is a real estate billionaire. And he's on CNBC or wherever, and it gets circulating around. And I remember covering the article and saying, these are the guys that are feeling the squeeze. Because they're going on and portraying and warning and throwing out this FUD that a bank is going to crash every day if we don't basically cut rates. Sure enough, he's handing over major commercial buildings back to the banks. I didn't even know that when I made that comment. So I can make fun of a billionaire like that who's getting squeezed and he's still going to survive and live well, probably, right? When we don't always win. I don't always win. I've taken some major losses, some major setbacks. That's what makes us stronger. So I'm willing to send some shots at the billionaire. Where I'm not going to send shots and where I have sympathy and where I feel sick to my stomach, when I really get down to it, is Main Street getting the squeeze. It's one thing when the big billionaire has to turn over a commercial property, but folks, I just heard we got the FHA loans make up about 25% of the real estate market, and I believe that we're almost at about 10% delinquency rate. It's like 9%. So let me repeat. We got about, I think it was nearly a 10% delinquency rate on FHA loans in this country of America. These are federally backed, Federal Housing Authority backed government loans that make our real estate market unlike any other in the world with our 30-year fixed rate. And then you can do FHA, 3.5% down, no money down, and all sorts of other programs as well. 9% delinquency rate, I believe, is somewhere around there. And then continuing on that, FHA makes up about 25%, 1/4 of all of the real estate market, residential real estate market. And I guess that would include commercial as well. I think you can get some commercial loans, right, on, well, maybe not FHA. Maybe that's only for single family homes. I'm not sure. I think you can do 1 to 4 units on FHA. I'll let a real estate expert let me know in the comments down below. I'm sure someone will want to correct me on that. The point being, they're delinquent, nearly 10%, and they make up 1/4 of the entire real estate market. And so that's why I say it makes me sick to my stomach when I see the setup for Main Street, how brutal it's going to be. And I'm watching the cheerleaders on CNBC try to get everyone hyped up, try to make sure everybody's feeling good. Jim Cramer telling everybody to sell your GameStop, right? The old Cramer indicator. And it's so interesting because according to the Options Clearing Corporation, over 3.1 billion shares of GameStop are now on loan, more than 10x the float of the stock. This is from Kevin Malone. Options Clearing Corporation, 3.1 billion shares, 10 times the float of the stock. I've been hearing 5 times. I'm hearing 10 times. I can't verify that. If anybody else can, if that's true, if the options clearinghouse is our best source, then maybe that's where we're at. We've quickly gone though, to this level, and we did get a pullback for GameStop today. But you're seeing here that we're exposing the broader stock market as a whole. Speaking of exposing the market as a whole, well, Michael Burry called the great financial crisis, saw it coming ways away, was able to make all sorts of money on that move. Well, what's he stacking this time? He's loading up on $10 million worth of physical gold. That's right. He piles into a physical gold fund, making it his biggest bet. That's right. This is Michael Burry stepping back into the game with a big $10 million, his largest bet on a spot gold fund. So you're seeing it. This is the Shanghai futures, Shanghai SFE. The silver vaults fall below 800 trillion, setting a new low since 2020. The market is getting closer to the outbreak of the silver crisis. May 15th, the market data on the SGE SFE. So over in Shanghai, falls below 800 trillion, lowest level since 2020. Gold Telegraph. First, we saw a squeeze in nickel. Now we are seeing it in copper. Copper goes to all-time high today. In US dollar terms, central banks led by China keep buying gold as more and more countries look to de-dollarize. Many are focused on meme stocks when the element that is the glue of the economy is being squeezed. Hold on. You know what else they're doing is they're dropping our treasuries at the fastest pace since the great financial crisis as well. Now, along with the whales here, Michael Burry and others that are stacking suppressed assets, that's what I find myself doing right now. Like I said, I've been doing my silver, I've been doing my XRP, and we're going to confirm that we're not the only ones doing it, because we actually find out here XRP whales have been accumulating 540 million XRP worth $270 million in 5 weeks. So while folks are getting lost in the sauce, debating technical nuance, crying about XRP price, whining, firing up a little Twitter space, making a little TikTok-y, Ripple's bad, XRP's bad, it's never going to go to all-time high, bro. The whales, the adults, the big boys and girls in the space, picking up another 500 million XRP, swooped. It never fails that while people moan and complain about the price, others are buying. Thank you for sharing that one, Wheezy. Now, they are stacking and getting exposure to the spot Bitcoin ETF. Remember that the spot Bitcoin ETFs, this is the first spot funds that are really allowing any of these investment boards to get exposure. They're ready to invest in other digital assets as well. I firmly believe that. But for right now, they can just get access to Bitcoin, and they are. We're seeing Wells Fargo, JP Morgan disclosed. Now, State of Wisconsin Investment Board discloses buying $99 million worth of BlackRock spot Bitcoin ETF. Now, this is what I love, is money, new money coming into the space, folks. This just adds and builds that base, right? This is another nearly 100 million that's coming into crypto, and, for the foreseeable future is going to stay in crypto. And the question remains, is it going to be moved back into equities? Is it going to be moved back into bonds? Is it going to be moved into a different crypto? Oh, we made money on Bitcoin. Now let's roll it into a large cap fund, which gets its exposure to the top 5 cryptocurrencies. You guys understand that our ETF market has exponentially grown over the last few decades. We now have ETF funds for breakfast, a fund that holds equity in the companies that produce your breakfast foods. It's that simple. Folks got so hyped up and confused and what's going on with the ETFs around XRP, right? Can XRP even go into an ETF? XRP is not a security. How can it be put into an ETF? Well, look at all the other commodities that are put into ETFs. Corn, soy. The ETFs and the derivatives control the market, as we're seeing in stocks, as we're seeing in the metals, as we've been seeing in crypto now. The only one that is been given access to the broader investment community, the hedge funds, the managers that can now pitch and sell Bitcoin and crypto to their investors. The only one that's been available is the spot Bitcoin ETF, but we got more coming. We're supposed to get the update on the Ethereum ETF. You guys let me know in the comments down below if you think that we're going to get that one approved. I think it's going to be very interesting. Do we get some sort of approval? I actually just thought of this. This is a new theory. We get some sort of approval of an ETF, but at the same time, we got the lawsuit with Consensus. Maybe some sort of settlement is reached, right? They come out and announce, okay, we've made a settlement with Consensus and the, maybe Ethereum Foundation or whoever else gets roped into that, right? We've made a settlement, and now we're going to allow the ETF to get approved. And there's still a chance, I guess, that they can approve this ETF, because even if they believe, they can come out and say that they think ETH is a security, but they're still going to approve the ETF, right? So you guys let me know what you think. But what I am just so excited to see is all of this new money coming in from the folks that were saying that they had no interest in this space, no interest in digital assets. It was all for criminals. It was all bad. It was a pet rock. To now, investment boards, pension funds, and, if you guys are invested in your 401k or your pension, your retirement account, you guys better know what you're in. You better know that at the very bare minimum, right? If you have a financial advisor, if you have somebody who's managing your money for you, you better know what they got your money in right now. If you can't tell yet, we're going through a reset and price revaluation of the entire stock market and all of the assets in the world. Because we're in a hyperinflation, rapid inflation, and devaluation of fiat currency era. Now, I laughed at this post here. This is from Alex Cobb. Huge shout out to Cobb. I used to watch him from time to time back in the day. He's always entertaining. XRP, what happens next? And he says, this thing is so ready. And the reason why I laugh is because we've been sharing this wedge. Love it. We've literally been sharing this wedge now for what, 3-4 years, right? This wedge that I guess in 2021 we went up to $2, so that's where our top of our wedge, goes to. But we really extended out. But you tighten up that wedge like Cobb did here. That's looking tight, looking good. And to the upside, he sends that arrow all the way to $17. Can you imagine? But I just got a kick out of that post, just because it's like, I just know how many people are offended by Cobb posting that picture with the wedge. Once again, it's like every day we've been posting that wedge every day for the past 3 years, and we're going to keep on posting that wedge, and it just keeps on getting tighter and tighter and tighter. And what's so exciting is how far are we going to springboard after this thing does go? Okay. It is inevitable. We have a competitive advantage, and I don't think the rest of the space understands this or gets this. They're too distracted and or too stupid. All due respect, but most of the space doesn't understand that XRP is going to be the only digital asset with clarity that in and of itself, it's not a security. It's not a security. We have that certainty. Court precedent. Can they appeal? Sure. But the law of the land for the next couple years is that XRP in and of itself is not a security. Only digital asset with that clarity. And other than that, you have opinions for Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the rest of the space has nothing. You have opinions for Bitcoin and ETH. You have declarations made by the CFTC and SEC, and opinion shared. However, XRP is the only one with that certainty. Next step is concluding the SEC versus Ripple lawsuit. What is about to happen? We are about to potentially get the sign off on Ripple's business model, which is one of the few legitimate business models that's actually been proven, tested, and is live with tens of billions of dollars of liquidity flows happening. That would be on-demand liquidity, which is now part of the broader Ripple payments. RippleNet, XCurrent, XVIA, X this, X that. It's now been simplified. Ripple payments. Is all of it on XRP? No. They have the liquidity hub. They've purchased Medico. They can custody any asset. They can provide you liquidity in any digital currency. And here soon, after the approval of standard custody and trust goes through, they'll have a trust company that they can issue that stablecoin through. and they'll be able to hold real world assets as well. But to summarize, only digital asset with clarity, and we are about to potentially get that business model signed off on by the judge. If he says that ODL sales are not investment contracts, you guys have restructured them, you're good to go, and she doesn't issue a penalty against them, or even if she did issue the penalty, which doesn't make sense, right? If ongoing, they're not, or maybe the way that they were structured before, they were investment contracts. She'll say, the way that you structure these investment contracts up until 2019, 2020 was an investment contract. It wasn't unregistered security. You're going to pay a fine, 10, 20, 50 million, 100 million. You're going to pay a little fine, but you've restructured those contracts going forward. You're good to go. Nobody else in the space has this. And nobody else in the space is really getting anybody that matters to pick up the phone and actually work with them. They're lucky to get in the room with them. They're lucky to get through to a decision maker when they call up these institutions that Ripple already has signed on. Please remember that HSBC already decided to tokenize gold using Medico's platform. Ripple has now acquired Medico, and I wanted to show you this one from Medico right here. All Medico updates and news for institutional grade custody solutions can now be found on Ripple. This move allows us to better connect with our community and provide even more valuable insights. They're simplifying it. Medico is Ripple, right? Ripple has acquired them. The deal is done. It is over. Institutional grade custody. Trust company on the way as soon as New York approves it. And then they have the MTL money transmitter license in nearly every state. It's game over. ODL is going live in the United States, confirmed by Simon McLaughlin. We had him on. He said household names are the institutions that we're working with. That's what he said. As far as Uphold has now been added to ODL, helping to facilitate it. Uphold, a prime broker with relationships with dozens of exchanges and market makers. What they do is provide liquidity, and what they're setting themselves up to be is also a bank and allow you to keep all sorts of assets under their management. And he talked about providing that yield. But when it came to ODL, he clarified, because you guys know I was ready on the edge of my seat. You know I was going to be making a video. US ODL is live. You know I would have been trying to hype that one up because we've been waiting for that one. And that is going to be a big deal, and it is on the way. He said it's not live yet, but they're live in the UK. They're live in Europe with household names. I'll let you guys speculate on what household names Ripple and Uphold are working with. Now, this is interesting here from Acceler Network. This morning, Deutsche Bank announced participation in the MAS, which is the Monetary Authority of Singapore, Project Guardian, testing compliant asset tokenization applications. Institutions participating in Guardian have picked Acceler interoperability 2 years in a row. Thoughts on why interop is critical for real-world assets? Well, I'm not going to really read through this, but the point being, okay, is Acceler here working with Deutsche Bank, and Deutsche Bank working with Monetary Authority of Singapore, and Acceler Network is the group here that is launching 60 different assets on the XRP ledger. They're providing interoperability for 60 different assets, Ethereum included, on the XRP ledger. That was an announcement that just came out, I think, about a month or so ago. And so the partnerships are there, waiting to be unveiled, and they're starting. They've we're starting to see more and more getting unveiled behind the scenes. Now, out in the open, public deal going on here. Ripple invests $1.05 million in Morgan State's FinTech Center. Interestingly, Apple, Google, and NASA are all affiliated with Morgan State University as well. And they're giving Ripple a shout out right here. So this is a grant going to their National FinTech Center. And I just find it so hilarious, all these folks that want to say Ripple's not giving enough money and doing this and that and criticizing them. It's tough to give money. You got to understand. My mentor, Dan Pena, talks about this actually. He gives most of his money to the Catholic Church. He talks about that very openly. But he was talking about this here recently. He said, folks don't realize how difficult it is to give your money away. Like, even if you do want to give your fortune away, you don't want to pass it on to your little ones. You got to, you don't approve of that, whatever your story is, right? So you're not going to pass on the generational wealth of them. You're going to give it all away. And you're hearing some folks, say this, whatever. But the point being, just how difficult it is to find legitimate charities. You give it to the school, you give it to this, and you're trying to actually find, someone who's legit to give it to a cause where they're actually applying the money to where it's supposed to be going, right? But nonetheless, Ripple showing up here with another grant given to this university, being joined by, the likes of, what was that, Apple? Let me go back here. That was Apple, Google, and NASA, right? And I wanted to finish off tonight's session with this data point right here. Folks don't realize that our viral moment is here. I've never felt more better about XRP. I don't listen to any of the nonsense anymore. I try not to address the complainers and whiners because they are the minority. The adults in the room are still chugging away, building businesses, building a family, supporting a good vibe in your community, spreading the good word, planting a seed in your garden, watching it grow, not asking for a handout, but providing for you and yours. And God willing, we're going to be able to provide for many great causes, help fix some of the problems that we face. And I'm telling you guys right now that this is our viral moment. What we're looking at right here, folks, is Fruition Productions. This is the group that is putting out the documentary. Huge shout out to Chris, Maya, and the entire team. Got to see the entire production team in Vegas. Had a good time with them. A lot of fun. But they have added some great interviews to XRP Unleashed while we were at XRP Las Vegas 2024. The edit is moving along. Included in the interviews, Simon from Uphold, Kevin Maloney from I Trust Capital, Adam from XRP Cafe, which I got to meet Adam at Vegas as well. That was a pleasure. And David Schwartz, the CTO of Ripple. So we are going to see Ripple in this documentary. I know a lot of folks have had so many questions about this documentary, a lot of hate towards the documentary, but in large part, we've got incredible feedback. And for me, it's humbling to be a part of this documentary with the likes of David Schwartz, Simon McLaughlin, Jimmy Valley, and others that are going to make this documentary so interesting. John Deaton, obviously going to light it up. And I was listening to John Deaton again on Boston 10, their local news today. John Deaton's messaging is so on point. And I'm telling you guys, this is part of our viral moment. John Deaton is running for a spot that is nationally watched. In fact, it's watched across the world in the cryptocurrency space. The crypto community around the world is laughing at us having to deal with the likes of Elizabeth Warren. But John Deaton, and the link is in the description of all my videos, John Deaton for Senate. If you can afford to help him out, I would highly encourage it. I would highly consider, because John Deaton is giving Elizabeth Warren a run for her money. And that's the only thing that she has him beat on. He is so dialed in right now. And he takes XRP viral. He takes the truth viral. This documentary takes XRP viral, but it also takes a broader story of the regulatory capture, the bureaucracy beast, the attack and the damages done to the XRP community and to the broader American people with the regulatory capture that's being attempted right now by the SEC. All we wanted was a level playing field. All we wanted was clarity. We want to comply with the securities laws. The securities laws have been on the books for a very long time. They're actually fairly clear. What's happening, though, is the SEC is extending their reach. And this is why, this is not my opinion, in the court of law, we're seeing some pushback. We're seeing, oh, wow, they falsified evidence and had a company's assets freezed and made them go bankrupt with falsified claims in the debt box case. What has happened to our country? This documentary, I believe, is going to include the best of each of those parts, right? The truth about XRP, the utility of XRP, explain, yes, of course, it's great tech. But you have a broader story here that I think resonates with the American public and people worldwide who see what the United States is up against, who see that this story of corruption is straight out of a Hollywood movie. I wish this was just a Hollywood movie. I wish this wasn't real life. Stephen Narioff scooped up, thrown in the... What are we talking about? What happened to our country? And this is what's going to be going viral. It's not just the truth about XRP, but XRP's there. And I'm telling you guys right now, as we go into this, the second half of this bull run, later into this year, probably going to fall off into 2025 as well if we repeat past cycles, and all indicators, even broader liquidity cycles, looks like we will be. But we have some bumps to get over, some hurdles to jump this year. Broader regulations, still waiting on that. But it is coming. They just considered another bill yesterday, actually. A blockchain, basically a blockchain act, basically making the government get their crap together, basically saying, hey, blockchain is here. It's here to stay. Distributed ledger technology. You need to figure it out. And we're going to start to make, people responsible for this, which obviously we're dealing with our US government. So it's kind of a slow moving behemoth beast, right? But I firmly believe that they have been getting their ducks in a row this whole time. That's kind of part of the cloud that they've put over us, is to create kind of this confusion that buys them time. Remember, they talk about it being a pet rock having no use. Meanwhile, they're picking it up on the back end. That's exactly what we're seeing. Now, we do have some time, folks, so why don't I get into some Q&A? I see that we've only been going live here for about 47 minutes, so why don't we run into some Q&A? Drop some comments, questions down below. I do have an adult beverage that I forgot to take a sip of, so cheers, God bless. Thank you for stopping by if you guys haven't already. I was excited to go live here tonight, and so I just got rock and roll, and I totally forgot to sip my adult beverage. Cheers, everyone. I planted potatoes in the garden, tomatoes. There you go. There you go. That's what's up. We got to plant something. I planted a bunch of snap peas. They're starting to sprout. Got a bunch of other things, cucumbers. I don't like pickles. I hate pickles. But wifey likes pickles, so got some cucumbers rolling. That's my form of meditation. I don't meditate. I go out in my garden and I throw seeds in the dirt, and I see what happens. When Moon, man, we're on the way right now. I feel like we're on a rocket ship right now. God willing. I mean, golly. This is a beautiful opportunity. I already feel like we're on the rocket ship. Yeah, we're going to, fall off course here and there, have some setbacks, but the breakthroughs are happening right now. We have taken off. The charts that I showed you guys earlier in this session, price discovery is here. And really for silver, usually the term price discovery is used above 50, above the previous all-time high. That's when you go into price discovery. But I would argue, we don't have much above 30. It's 30 to 35, but there's not much there. There's not much there. Am I coming to the Quantum Summit in Cape Canaveral? I don't think that I'm going to be able to make it. I really wish I could. Very, very busy next couple months for us right now. I wish I could make it to that conference. And I was talking with Mel, and it sounds like he's going to do them every year. And so I'm looking forward to attending them in the future. That look like it's going to be a fun time. What is a good cold wallet? Yeah, I think that we're about to add Decent to our list of affiliates at my website, zachrector.com. I think that we have EliPal and we had Trezor. Yeah, EliPal and Trezor is what I have available for you guys now, if you guys are looking to get a little bit of a discount on that. And then we'll get Decent set up as well, too. I know a lot of people have been requesting Decent. I like having my options, you know what I'm saying? I use the Zum wallet to access the XRP Ledger Toolkit. That's the wallet that I use to kind of interact with the XRP Ledger. And then, obviously, I have my cold storage solutions as well, right? So I like having options. Same with exchanges. Yes, Scotty, I'm glad that we are back as well, man. I'm so glad that we're back. It feels so good. And if you guys could help me out by liking, dropping a comment down below, it really does help us share this out far and wide. A lot of people don't even know that we got it back. We're having to build back up that momentum. Started from the bottom, now we're here. And now we're back to the bottom. Now we're building it back up. No, we're not. We didn't go back to the bottom, but definitely just building back up the momentum, getting back into a rhythm with things. And, you know, it was kind of nice to take a little bit of a break, I guess, a little bit of a reset. But so much is just happening right now that I like to be here every day for you guys. Tom, I really appreciate the 20 spot. Does anybody remember laughter? Tom's always reminding us that we need to laugh a little bit, huh? How and where can get HBAR and Flare to buy in? There's many places to get HBAR and Flare. They're listed on many different exchanges. Like I said, I like having multiple options for the exchanges, so I'm not going to really shout out any one over the other. They all have their own struggles. Yep. Tony, appreciate you, Tony. The XRP road markers on the horizon are getting so plentiful that I'm finding I need to write them down. Are these basically correct? What am I missing? See next post. Okay, what's the road markers? Yeah, I mean, the lawsuit's here. I've been saying the light is at the end of the tunnel. It's getting a lot closer. It's getting a lot brighter, the light at the end of the tunnel. And that's just on the SEC versus Ripple lawsuit. When you go look at all the utilities that are now being added to the XRP ledger, you have that as well. Bricks is showing up. Absolutely. And I've made that playlist on my YouTube channel, Bricks Loves XRP. I need to add to that playlist. I can add a couple more. By the way, guys, if you guys missed our interview with Simon McLaughlin, that's in the interview playlist. And we got the interview playlist. We have the Bricks Loves XRP. And I'm going to be revamping some of the playlists on the channel as well. I want to kind of reorganize the channel a little bit too. Especially as we, the other one that we got obviously is the real estate reset. And I have a lot of older real estate videos, but I hadn't added them to my real estate reset playlist because I was trying to keep it current, right? So I'll be adding more to all of those playlists. Make sure you guys check that out. Tony, I appreciate the 10 spot, my friend. Release of XRP Unleashed by Fruition Productions by end of October. Yeah, that's another marker right there, Tony. That's what I'm saying. That's why I finished with that point that David Schwartz is going to be in this documentary. They interviewed him at XRP Las Vegas. Yeah. Have I utilized the AMM yet? Yes, I have, and I haven't checked on my AMM in like a couple weeks. I need to check on the AMM. I have not checked on that in a while. And I need to make my video, How to XRP AMM. That'll be dropping in the next week. I'm going to make that video for sure for you guys. I know a lot of people, and I'm going to make a simple one because I haven't seen many put out. I've seen some that are like really long, and I just want to put out a simple one that'll show everybody. It'll be a few minutes long, and it'll explain very quickly how to basically participate in the XRP AMM, XRP Ledger. Will NDAs be revealed after final lawsuit ruling? Tony, I do believe so. And I talked about this in my last Discord weekly call. I talked about some of the things that were talked about behind the scenes at XRP Las Vegas. And what I'm talking about is some institutions being confirmed, some ETFs being confirmed by the top brass. And I'll just leave it at that. But I talked about it in my last Discord weekly call. What came out of Vegas was a good time. Obviously, we had incredible vibes, good times with the XRP community. But Brad on stage at the DC dinner, Chamber of Commerce dinner, he was having himself a good time, and he was telling folks some things. And he was asked about XRP this year, and he said he wouldn't be selling XRP this year, meaning he would be holding XRP through this year, meaning probably something is coming for XRP this year. That was shared around by quite a few people as having heard him say that at the dinner. I didn't attend the dinner because I was having a private Discord meetup. So we were meeting with our private group that night that the Digital Chamber dinner was taking place. And that is where Brad Garlinghouse took stage with Michael Arrington, his good friend from Arrington, Capital. And Brad was having a good time, enjoying himself. And if you look, I mean, you don't have to, this isn't some XRP Las Vegas secret. Just look at these guys talk lately. The guys and the gals running Ripple, just look at them and their posture lately. That right there is everything the only thing I need to see. And this stablecoin is going to bring so much more liquidity to the XRP ledger, in my opinion. We need legitimate issuers on the XRP ledger. Ripple is going to be able to be one of them. And they're going to be able to set a standard for stablecoins and more broadly, real world assets on the XRP ledger. They're going to be able to set a standard for that. Just a few more minutes, guys. Get your questions in. If you guys haven't already, please like and help me out by sharing out our content far and wide. We'll have some more updates dropping tomorrow morning. Like I said, we got real estate content coming. I'm going to be talking about the XRP Ledger AMM. That's going to be coming up here soon. If you want to make it to our private Discord weekly calls, they happen every single Saturday, 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have them every Saturday, private conversation, and it's always a good time with the family. Just celebrating 3 years that we've had the private Patreon Discord group. Got a family in there. Something always happens in August and October. Yeah, so this is why I was saying that we got some bumps along the way to get us through this year. Okay. The general trend is probably going to be up and to the right, but we got some bumps along the way. We definitely got some bumps along the way. Mega Man says, spending mine on land and pigs. Well, that's why they call them cash cows, right? That's where that saying comes from. The pigs there, there's nothing like it. See, I used to raise pigs, actually, funny enough. This is back in the day. It wasn't the first time I'd moved out, or not the first place I lived at when I moved out, but back in the day, I moved out. I lived in this spot, and it was just a dump. You guys wouldn't believe this place. If you guys saw this place, you'd be like, there's no way you live there. I'm talking a shack. But I paid nothing. I paid like literally a couple $100 a month. It was a 2-bedroom place. Me and my buddy split the rent for $400 a month. And it was on a farm. And this place was an absolute dump. But we cleaned it up. And it was so cheap. And this is when I was starting my property service business. And so I was able to run my business out of there. We raised some pigs. And that was the best. Bacon, pork. We had pork steaks for days. We were living like kings in this shack, literally. Because we raised our own pigs, and then my buddy, they raised cattle as well. So we had good grass-fed beef, and then we had our own raised pigs. We're literally living like kings, but we're in this shack. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. The place is actually torn down now. It's not there anymore. Otherwise, I would be doing eventually I'd do a video, from the shack to the compound, but the place is gone. But I don't even, I got started because Mega Man said he's buying pigs. Great investment. Not only on the quality, an investment in the food that you're putting into your body, right? Knowing where it comes from. And also, I mean, if you wanted to, do the side hustle, it's there as well. We didn't really, we didn't really sell it off. We just raised it for ourselves. And, shoveling a pig pen is not fun. Guys, I come from freaking in it. I come from doing it. I wasn't handed anything besides a hand-me-down pickup truck from my grandfather. 1990 F-250. It's the only thing I was handed down besides a great set of values, and I'm very thankful for my family. But we can literally say that we got it out the mud, as the kids say, right? As they say, got it out the dirt, got it out the mud. Literally. Yep. And what you're seeing right now is all of these commodities, all of these, real value, real resources, real commodities are all going into price discovery. This is why you're paying a premium to get that good organic grass-fed beef, that good pork, right? Even to go to the grocery store and get crap, you're paying a lot, right? Let alone get the good stuff. Today we see commodities go to all-time high. Today we see this thing went to almost $30 per this, 1 ounce. And what's interesting is good luck getting it for 30, 31, 32, right? I think my good friend Andy Scheckman, some of his prices can be just a couple bucks over spot from time to time. He runs these weekly specials and he'll get that delivered to your door for a couple, paying a couple bucks over spot, which is pretty dang good. But that's the thing, is these premiums are going up and the shortages and the deficits are continuing. We saw production, fell off so hard last year and has not recouped. We have that mine operation for copper down in Arizona or Nevada. There's a couple. We have so much of these mines, right, that have been in development and permitting for 10, 20 years. So we're way behind the 8 ball on rolling over to a green new world. And even if we want to attempt to get there, even if we want to bring on the people that we got to kind of a updated grid, right? We got to update in using these commodities. So as I said, the real value is going into price discovery. I know as XRP holders, we're wondering, when are we going to break out of that dang wedge that we've been posting about for 4 years, three years, for a very long time, this thing, right? But remember that XRP's competitive advantage is about to shine and is growing, and the gap is widening between XRP and the rest of the space from a fundamental perspective. From a price standpoint, it's not there. Speculation is driving this market, and that's why you're seeing the manias. In the meantime, the fundamentals continue to grow. Eventually, the market price will catch up with the fundamental value, and this is why you're hearing calls for silver all the way up to $100 to $1,000. This is why you're seeing calls for gold all the way up from 4,000 to 40,000 fundamental value. And as I like to say, anywhere in between sounds good to me. Let's go find out. Is XRP going to $5 or 589? Don't know, but I'm excited to find out. And I'm going to continue stacking these assets in the meantime. In an effort of full transparency, I just tell you what I do. I talk about the current events, financial markets. I'm going to keep on doing it. We got more content coming tomorrow morning for you guys. If you appreciate what we do, please make sure you like this video, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and everything can be found on my website, zachrector.com. I will see you guys tomorrow. God bless you all. Thank you.